Come on, Vominos.
Everybody, let's
Let's
go.
go.
Always.
Come on, let's get to it. I know that we can do it.
Okay. So, you awaken in the dungeons of the Queen of Hearts castle. Your weapons are gone. You're down to your bare kind of clothes, no armor, nothing like that. And it's all been taken from you as you await trial for getting your heads chopped off. There are card guards that patrol the outside of the cage, or not the cage, but the jail cell. And all the jail cells are kind of like in the shape of hearts. Each doorway kind of is a heart shape. Um, there are locks on the doors, and you are all have your hands bound in iron chain as well as your feet. You can get up and move around. You're not change the wall or anything like that. But you five are the only ones that are in this jail cell. You can't see a jail cell across the hall. It's just red brick that extends to the ceiling and more of that black and white checker piece pathway separating in between. There's one card guard who stands guard at your door at all times that you've noticed, and you see that there has been a change every hour since you've been in the dungeon. It's been 4 hours since you held court with the Queen of Hearts, and she said, "Off with your head." So, what do you do?
Thal sitting in the corner just sulking. She's like, I'm really sorry, you guys. I didn't mean to ask the question.
It really
Lucan,
wasn't your fault, though.
Sure
Lucan's
feels like
just
it.
Lucan's just like sitting there, like up against the wall, leaning, just like tapping his head back on the wall. Like, this is unfortunate.
It seems really unstable, the queen that is. We can't fault you, Thal. And usually I'm the one who asks a bunch of questions, so it could have been me, not you. It's okay. But we should come up with a plan because I think we're going to have to go to a trial before she decides to cut off our heads.
I don't want to be fish food.
Can Bailey look at she'll sit down and look at the cuffs around her ankles and look and
Mhm.
see if it looks like something she could maybe pick the lock of if she wanted to.
It looks like a convoluted lock. Like you don't even see a keyhole inside of the actual lock itself. It's some weird, twisted Underlandian lock mechanism that almost like a puzzle that you would twist and turn and pull it and bop it to get it to unravel.
She'll fiddle with it while they sit there.
Hmm.
Think that they're shipping. Do you think it's drugs?
I'm sure it's drugs, though.
Well, that's what the pirates used to ship, and Hook's a pirate, and I don't like pirates.
That's
Oh,
fair.
drugs aren't super evil. They can I have not taken any myself, but ones of the tribes, they had a very good time. I don't see how that could be some evil plan.
I wonder if it's the same stuff that was in that bottle. Whatever she was giving to Mia that made her obey.
Hmm.
There was some sort of shipping order on the desk there, but I don't remember really being able to make sense of it.
Are you
Hooks
talking
or
about when you went with Evelyn?
Yeah, it's when I was in Hell Hall. Remember I came back with that bottle and it was mysteriously empty?
Oh, yes, yes.
She was giving them something to keep them under control. Or at least she was giving it to Mia. I don't know. It's just a guess.
I think it's a good guess. That sounds evil enough for them to be all very secretive.
it's the case, then we need to make sure that we don't ingest anything that they give us, just in case they try to control us.
It's a good thought.
She's just gonna whisper, "Do you think I can charm the card guard?" Speaking of charming,
Maybe. I have a deck of playing cards. I don't know if we could use that to connect with them or something, but
Could also turn into an animal, like a small animal, like a mouse, and scurry out of here and try to go get some help.
could you be like a cockroach or something that they wouldn't notice? I wouldn't want
Unless
you to
Oh,
get
it's,
killed.
and maybe it's like the maze and magic won't work. I mean, we can try, but
Remember, you don't have any of your instruments, weapons, any inventory items, or anything like that.
So
that
I
would be
couldn't
my
sing.
staff.
You need your staff?
I mean, yes, that's where I,
An arcane
channel.
focus for the druids.
Yeah, that's where I focus all my magic through. That's where I cast it out of. Some people use wands, or I use my staff.
I
I
use
can
my
just
necklace. So
I can just snap my fingers.
Well, aren't you lucky?
I mean, I don't have a lot of spells, but
I'm assuming the goal is to not go to the trial if there is one, and obviously not get our head cut off. So do we try to break out of here, or do we wait until they're transferring us and hobble our way out?
I
that
don't know,
that
but let's keep our
sounds
voices down.
That's fair.
Just pointing at
sketchy.
the guard.
Well, you know, the queen seems to like spectacles. What if we offered a show? Thal could sing, and I don't know, like maybe if we can win her over, she won't take our heads off.
She did say she liked my tail.
and I have a tail if I will it.
I don't know if that's going to be enough to change her mind.
As you're all talking, you hear at the end of the hallway a door clanking open, and you hear footsteps against the stone floor as a woman in this red and black kind of hearts and dress comes through. She's wearing kind of like not necessarily a pirate hat, but just a very ornate looking kind of brimmed hat that covers one of her eyes, and her hair is all pulled back in a tight ponytail, this blonde hair. The card guard that's at your door, he kind of like stands up real straight and holds on to his spear, and he goes, "Ah, Marianne, what can I do you for?" And Marianne, she says, "I am here to take the prisoners upstairs so that the Queen can talk to them before the trial." And the card guard says, "Yes, absolutely." And he turns, and he, on the lock, you see him mess with the puzzle, turning different knobs and buttons and switching over things as the door releases, and Marianne says, "Thank you, sir. If you don't mind, you'll need it upstairs." And the card guard says, "Absolutely, General." And he marches off out of the way, leaving Marianne at the front of the jail cell. And she says, "All right, prisoners, are you all okay?"
About as
Um,
okay as you can be, I guess.
More or less.
Marianne lifts her hat up, and you see it's Alice. She goes, "Shh, it's me, actually, Alice.
Thank God somebody came to rescue us.
I figured you'd need a way out. However, I can't sneak you out of the castle, but I have been able to think of something that might work to your strengths. The Queen loves spectacles, which is exactly what I heard Lucan say before I was stepping down the hallway. There is a tournament coming up, just today, that hopefully you all will be able to compete in. There's going to be rounds of croquet. You're going to
Cocaine?
be not cocaine, croquet.
Oh boy.
um, a, a
That'd be
tea
great.
making contest, and the biggest one of them all, a spectacle of fighting superiors. There is another champion who's going to be coming. I can't quite remember his name, but Alice is also going to be here. But shh, no one can know that I'm Alice. Okay, so what's my name?
Marianne.
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 Exactly. They all think that I'm the general. It's kind of part of Fairy Godmother's glamour spell. But it's only going to work for a little bit longer. That's why I was preparing myself to become the champion. That's why I was fighting the Jabberwocky. But anyways, now all look sad, you poor pivotal faces, and we'll head upstairs to the Queen's courtroom so that she can discuss our matters, okay?
Okay.
So Mary Ann, she leads you up out of the jail cell, and you head up staircases and that twist and turn, and some staircases look like they're upside down that you travel, and it looks like the ceiling is actually the floor and the floor is actually the ceiling, before eventually you come across the Queen's kind of uh court, basically, where you see two sides of the jury. They're just super tall, and a mix of like animals and people are all like in hushed tones, like looking down at you as you see the Queen of Hearts at the end of the of court place, where she's on this high pedestal up in the air, where banners of the Queen of Hearts rain down on the other sides. Here you see the White Rabbit sitting on one of the pedestals to her left hand side, and also you see card guards just lining the entirety of the court. As you make your way down, you eventually stop behind Mary Ann, and she steps forward. And the Queen of Hearts, she says, "And what are you doing?" Um, Mary Ann, she bows, curtsies to the Queen of Hearts, and she says, "Hello, Your Majesty. Um, I have just come across our prisoners here, and they all are willing to join the tournament that you have today, to show off their skills to denounce the beheading." And there's like a murmur in the crowd, like, people are whispering back and forth to each other. Um, Before the Queen of Hearts goes, "Silence! Quite like that idea. I'll take it. That's my idea." And Marianne says, "Yes, of course, Your Majesty." And the Queen of Hearts says, "Okay, fine. You all will compete in today's tournament. And I would like to see what your strengths are. There are 3 rounds of this tournament. The first one is a round of croquet, where I will be the judge and also be playing. The second round is a tea making competition. The best person to make the best tea and tart wins. It will also be judged by me as well. The third and final one is a spectacle for all of Underland to come and see you, and perform whatever it is you can do for your skills. There will be people for you to fight, and these dark little creatures that have wandered away into Wonderland and have been under my control. Because everything is under my control at Underland. Is that great? Exactly. Good. Now, if you don't mind, Marianne, can you show them to the tents before we begin today's tournament of festivities? And Marianne says, "Absolutely, Your Majesty, but you said that the only thing that they can win is they're not going to be beheaded." And the Queen of Hearts says, "Yes." And Marianne says, "I thought that whoever wins the Tournament of Champions wins that beautiful trophy that you have." And the Queen of Hearts says, "Ah, yes, you're right. The trophy. Well, it'll probably go to me because I will win this competition, but I suppose that is a wager. This trophy." And then the White Rabbit lifts from his pedestal and sets this heavy trophy on. He like kind of wobbles back and forth trying to get it on top of the thing. And you see this beautifully ornate looking trophy with the Queen of Hearts totem on the inside of it as a gem. "This will do just nicely. All right. Good luck. Court is adjourned and I win." And she slams her gable down. And Marianne kind of turns to you and she says, "Don't worry, everything will be okay. Just, I won't be Marianne for much longer. This glamour is already starting to wear off." And she leads you out of the palace, courtroom and into kind of an antechamber of the area. And she starts fiddling with your puzzle locks. And she's like, "There's quite a conundrum. If I switch this place here and the queen goes there, then you and you hear a lock click, and all of your chains are released from your uh, hands and feet. This antechamber also has what you see these like outfits, these Underlandian outfits that you all put on can wear. Marianne says, "You'll put these on, and don't worry, you'll have your choice of weapon. Once you get back, I will try to figure out where your stuff is hidden and bring it to you at the end of today's tournament. And once we actually get out of the Queen's Palace, um, do you have any questions before I leave you? Because there will not be time for anything else. I will not see you again until after the ceremony." Yes, Meryl.
Is the fighting part to the death, or is it just until somebody like doesn't fight anymore?
Well, let's just say there can only be one winner, but hopefully maybe you can fake it. I don't know. It's actually been a quite long time since there's been a tournament here at the palace.
Oh,
I try to stay my as far away as I can from the Queen of Hearts.
I see why.
Bailey, you had something as well.
Yeah, just one small question. How do you play croquet?
Okay, it's actually quite easy. All you need to do is take your flamingo and knock the hedgehog in through one of the um, loops that you would say of what the cod gods make. As long as you get your hedgehog through them, you'll be okay. The more you get through, the more points you win. The only thing is the cod gods move and in favor of the Queen of Hearts. So as long as you find a way to outwit her, you should be okay. Now the thing is, you're all a part of the same team, so hopefully that they will count you all as one single person. But this does mean each of you will have to participate, not as individuals in each competition. So you'll need to decide who plays in what. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes.
Everything except the flamingo part.
They're quite docile when you just give them a ring.
I feel
Oh
that's
boy.
not very humane.
Nothing's quite humane in Underland.
Okay.
It's a little different from the cricket or croquet I've seen in Loxton.
Welcome to Underland, Bailey.
Hmm.
And Thal, you had something as well?
Pirate? Is he gonna be watching or is he gone?
Captain Hook.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone to the Queen's Court. Of course, he should be here. Although he spends a lot of his time in the back gardens near the Valley of Dreamshade.
Dreamshade?
Dreamshade, you've heard of it?
No.
Well, when you infuse it in tea, it makes you quite sleepy and drowsy, gives you vivid dreams.
Could we use that in the tea making competition?
It's possible, but the Queen has a very faint nose for that. If she smells it in the tea, she's not going to drink it.
Hmm.
Dreamshade only grows here in Underland. It actually can't grow anywhere else. Trust me. Hatter once tried to get me to make some in Everas, and Eliot, I talked to him about it, and he said, "Oh, yep, that's not going to work." I disobeyed. I planted it anyways, and unfortunately, it didn't grow.
As easy as that.
I
Just
do
didn't
miss
grow.
him. Yeah, it. I thought it would, but it didn't, which
Why?
means it couldn't, but possibly it could under the right conditions. I, let's just say I've never seen it grow outside of Underland.
Right. Okay. So, do you by chance know an ingredient that's strong enough to cover up the taste of Dreamshade? Anybody, actually? I don't know anything about
We don't
plants.
feel like we should try to. We're trying to win this. We're not trying to knock the
Poison the
queen
queen.
out.
I agree, but just putting this out there, if the queen is participating and she's judging, is there any chance of us winning? Is it even a
Well,
possibility that she would let us win?
it's possible, but the Queen of Hearts ruling is number one in this world. Hopefully, with enough evidence and evidentiary support to support your case, The Queen of Hearts will understand. She was once on trial when I was about 7 or 8 years old when I first tripped to Underland, and she thought I'd stole her tart, when actually it was one of her little gods that looked like frogs. I mean, he had tart all over his face, but she still blamed me. Eventually, I supported my case by showing that, hey, he has jelly all and jam all over his face, and she couldn't possibly rule me as the culprit. And unfortunately, he died with his head cut off. It now resides in the moat outside the castle, along with everyone else who's been had their heads cut off.
I'd like to keep my head.
But the only one that's ever seen lost their head was Cheshire Cat. He has ability to do so. I wonder where that cat is.
Everywhere.
You're right.
So,
Yes.
3 events, 1 person per event from our team.
You could team up, so if for the first one you want to do tea and tarts with 2 people, that's fine. The second one for or croquette, you want to have 2 people on your team, and 1 person for the tourney, you absolutely can do that. Or you can do 1, 3, 1. It just, as long as everyone has showcased the talents.
Okay, I guess we'll get to discussing who wants to be in what.
Perfect. I do have to go. Once you're ready, you want to head out to the gardens where the first match of croquet will be. Um, just so you know, you'll need to wear one of these outfits. It doesn't matter which one, whatever you prefer, but it is important that you wear them because if you don't, well, you might be deducted points and you're off with your head.
Okay, we'll play by her rules.
One last thing. If the event comes down to it, where there is no possible way out, eat this. And she pulls out a cookie that says, eat me on it. And she breaks it up into 5 individual pieces. And she gives you each of them. I can't remember if that will make you grow tall or shrink, but use that as a last resort. Understood?
Yes.
Yes.
The thing is also to understand is it only will work in Underland. So if you try to eat it when you go to Everas, it'll just be a biscuit for you.
All right.
All right. Good luck, champions.
Thank
Luck
you,
to you too.
Marianne.
Thank you. All right. And she turns on her heels and she like fixes her hat and she like marches really weirdly out of the door and back out into the castle, leaving you guys in this antechamber with like benches and there's like some swords that hang up on the wall, although they're very dull, and things like that. There are some staves hanging up against the wall. You see portraits of the Queen of Hearts all around, like champion this year, #1 champion this year. Like you see that she's the champion of the tournaments for every single game. And then there's finally one blank portrait at the end of the hall, which goes out into the gardens. And there's also outfits for each for whatever you want to wear. There's some leather armor ones, there's some dresses, there's some skirts, there's some vests, there's some trousers, there's pretty much anything you could want. Not a grandiose scale, but enough Underlandian looking for y'all to get dressed. Go ahead.
Well, um, who wants to do what? Who strings or any of those things?
I can make a really good pot of tea.
I'll go for the biscuit part. I'm not really good at any of this.
I probably would. Well, I don't know if I would be very good at croquet, but I could probably manage either of the other 2.
I guess
Well,
if someone can bake better than me, then please, by all means, take it.
I have fish fingers. I know how to make seaweed. It tastes great.
I don't think she would like that.
I don't think so either.
Okay, so me and Meryl will take over the tea and biscuits or bakery, whatever that is, and then do we want 1 person for croquet and 2 people for the fight?
Bailey will look at Lucan. What do you want to do?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the fight is going to look like. I'm sure that infighting, it's probably not a terrible idea to have some help with that, but if I need to go at it alone, like, that's my strong point, and I can try.
Is anybody really good at croquet by any chance?
Don't know what that is.
Never
don't
played
know.
it.
Mm-mm.
Neither have I. I don't know what skills you would need. If it's more of a finesse kind of thing or if it's just strength.
Athletics.
Performance.
I can play croquet or I can join you,
Um,
Lucan. Whatever you're more comfortable with.
I can do either too. You can choose who your backup can be. I think you shouldn't go in alone. Have somebody at least there to help if you
But
fall, you know.
is croquet a two-person thing?
I feel like it's a one-person thing.
Okay.
I am kind of good with my hands, you guys. So maybe, oh man, maybe I'll take the croquet,
Okay.
and Thal can do the biscuit.
You don't want me to do biscuits.
Hey, I can handle both biscuits and tea. It shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
I will croquet all you want.
Okay.
Thal can't cook. I was just making sure if Lucan needed somebody to heal, I could heal him
I
in
won't
the
be
middle of
able
the
to heal
battle.
you. And also, I'm not at full health.
That's a
I'm also
really good point.
I don't feel super hot. I still am kind of recovering from that fall. So, or else I would say I probably would be able to take whoever they put in the ring. I mean, I hope.
got 3 spell slots, some really cool shit to throw at people, so
She did say that the tournament was full of these dark little things that came to Underland that
the
she
Dreamless.
controls. Yeah, yes. So if it's anything like what we've gone up in the past, they might not be overwhelmingly powerful unless there's like 100 of them or she's mushed them all into one big one.
Okay.
We've fought plenty of them in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
but one sent me unconscious,
Yeah.
and I do have to be close to them to hit them.
Yeah.
you don't have anything you could throw? You can't use like a
Uh,
ranged weapon, kind of fight how I do?
I have a javelin, but I'm not the most proficient in that. I would rather use my war scythe or something.
I don't know if you get those back. She might use like here, pick from my set of things.
You're
There's
Uh,
weapons
right, but
here.
that's true.
There's weapons here to pick from. So maybe you can find something that would suit you. I feel like that we should make the final decision right now and get ready and get out there because if we're late,
Mm-hmm.
we could unplease the queen.
Should
Well, I can
we
certainly bake, I would say reasonably well. I mean, I'm not, probably as good at it as some people, but
Okay,
I could
Bailey,
also
you
fight.
take baking because I am healthy, fit as a horse. So you take
Sounds
baking, and then Thal can take croquet, cocaine, and then Elowen is on tea, and I guess that means Lucan and I.
how are
Although
your spell slots?
how's your health?
spell slots are fine and health is fine, but I don't have my focus.
Is there anything you could use as a substitute in the meantime? Like a
I
twig?
mean, I've I've never tried. I could try to like pray real hard.
You might be able to
Battle
use one of the
strategy.
wands that they have here. I know it won't be the same.
Yeah, if there's yeah, I'll make that work if there is something I could use. Yeah. So,
Really cool for fighting. I can make the earth change shape. I can charm people. I can electrocute people. I have healing, but I'm
what
also
level
really
are
good
we?
at athletics too.
Four.
With 4.
Cool. I'm not behind. Damn.
So
Okay.
Well,
we
is
lost
that
Lucan.
our decision
Well,
then?
you can also heal, right, Thal? Because you seem very eager.
I can heal, but you probably have more healing. I have 3 spell slots from
I have 4.
our thingy.
Okay, Thal, you're on croquet.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. Athletics, let's go.
You hope?
I hope. If not, it's not gonna be great.
Okay.
All right. Evelyn goes to the wall and she picks up boots, a pair of pants, and a flowy shirt.
Okay, sure. So you strap it into your pants. They're kind of tight and black. Some black boots as well, and the kind of the tunic it has a little bit open cut here, and there is just a heart emblem in red on the patch right here on her breastplate. Um,
And she takes a staff just in case she
Sure.
wouldn't use it.
You see the staff. It's kind of a dull wooden staff, and at the top of it, there's kind of some wood that kind of goes in like a ball like this, and on the inside you see kind of a glowing red heart crystal on the inside on the top of it.
Okay.
And it feels dull to hold, but you can definitely feel your magic flowing into the lumina crystal for you to control your magic.
Okay.
Everyone's ready.
Elowen's ready.
Lucan is probably going to go for like the leather armor.
Okay.
And is there like some sort of like sword or
You
yeah.
see there are a couple dull iron swords that are hanging up on the wall in clamps. The emblem on the hilt is a red heart. With an it's got a nice feel to it when you pick it up. It doesn't feel super weighted, like it doesn't feel perfectly in your hands, but it feels good enough to swing it around and hurt something if you use it. And then also wearing the leather armor, a little bit more than what Elowen kind of wears. Some black pants, a tunic. There is an armored, leather armored vest that's in black, and then in like a Harlequin kind of diamond looking
Mm,
vest, kind of on the armor for himself. Lucan is ready.
pick like a blouse and the skirt that you said, and then some
Sure,
boots
sure.
and a wand. And is there a shield?
Yeah, there's a small circular with shield with a heart on the design of it, and yeah, there's just a small kind of twisted, gnarly looking wand. And in the handle of the wand, you see some red crystals in there that are shaped like little hearts, and they start to glow as you touch it, so you can feel that your magic has kind of imbued with it that you can cast with it.
Cool.
And then yeah, the skirt is just a kind of a checkered black and white skirt. Um, there is an under, it's a skirt, so that there's like support underneath, as well. And then the blouse is a shoulderless blouse that kind of pulls up to the top. And then there are armored armlets that go with it, with hearts on the that there. Yeah. Um,
Feel kind of cute, you guys. I'm like waving my shield and my wand around.
Uh, Mal's ready?
Thal's going to try to get like a one-piece dress that's kind of like cute and floofy, so she doesn't have to wear pants anymore because she's anti-pants.
So yeah, the dress is black and red, with some white stripes, almost like looking a little bit like an apron, where there's a big red heart in the center of the apron there, and the dress kind of ploofs out, and there are some tights that go underneath of it, as well. And then as for your weapon,
Well, I'm doing croquet, so I just need a flamingo, right?
they're not in here right now.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And then Thal's ready, and then Bailey.
Bailey will probably pick out the darkest, sleekest outfit she can find, either like a longer one-piece dress or something that looks as close as she can get to her preferred style.
So you see some kind of like leather strappy looking dress that kind of is pulls on. It's mostly black with some white underneath frilly embroidery that goes at the top. It's also kind of low cut, showing off a little bit of her cleavage. But then there's a collar that kind of goes across here with a heart in the center of it, like a little red emblem of a heart. So it's kind of this nice, deep, sweet heart cut down that, yeah, and then a collar.
Then, is there like a short sword or like some daggers or?
There's one dagger and a rapier left. Rapier is basically like a sword as well. And then the kind of the part that covers your hand, you see like hearts designed on it. And same thing with the dagger. It looks like a smaller version of a sword, except cut out in the dagger. They're like heart shaped, so it's like a serrated dagger with like hearts cut out of the iron or steel. It's a steel dagger.
Can I take both?
Yeah,
She'll take both.
sure. Alrighty. What's up next?
I guess we head out.
Yeah.
To the
Whatever's first.
gardens. Okay, is there access to the Dreamshade garden from where we're at? Like,
No.
okay.
So you head out into the gardens of the castle itself, and it's this beautifully, there's rose bushes that are red, um, and some draperies and banners of the Queen of Hearts emblem, and you see her court kind of all milling around. There's frog people, rabbit people, different types of animals, and strange creatures that just you're not normally used to in Everas, as they're all in their kind of finest looking, dapper outfits. You see some card guards lining up around as the Queen of Hearts is holding onto her flamingo croquet. She's kind of like has it in her hand as it's using as a pace as she's waiting for everyone else to enter. And the white rabbit pulls out his horn and he and as you all step forward to start the games. The Queen of Hearts she looks at you all and she says, "All right, have you all decided what you're doing?" Perfect. Who's playing croquet? You, the blue one. And now that's
Hi.
red.
Yes, I
Interesting.
can be blue if you want me to.
No, red is fine. I hate
Okay.
blue. Blue's ugly.
She looked back at the others, kind of like teary-eyed.
I pat Thal, it's okay.
All right. Now, if you don't, the queen always goes first. And she extends out her flamingo as it straightens real rigid, and then a little hedgehog comes out of the hedges, and then it rolls up into a ball. And she like looks down at the gardens, and then the card guards all seem to like get into place, scattered all around the garden. And she's like, "Here we go!" And she swings her flamingo down as the hedgehog rolls out. It goes through one of the card guards, and then it kind of you see it kind of curve and go down to another one, and then as it slowly comes to a stop, you see a card guard kind of shift over a little bit so that it goes through three. Perfect. 3 points. Yeah, 10.
Oh, right, okay. And she grabs her flamingo and she's like, tries to do what the queen did to make it go straight.
Pulse performance.
Okay. 19.
Perfect. Your flamingo goes real straight, and the flamingo like looks into your eyes very pleadingly, and then the hedgehog rolls in front of you. It's a little gray one, and it rolls into a ball.
I'm a fish too, or an animal, I guess. I love you guys. I'm sorry. Please be good. And she'll hit it hard.
Roll athletics.
15.
All right, so you roll, you swing, and your hedgehog goes flying, and it bounces off one of the card guards, and everyone kind of like does a little slight chuckle, polite chuckle, around you, and it bounces off, and it rolls through another one of the card guards, and just as it goes to the third one, the card guard shifts out of the way. Ah, so close. 2 points. And next, you see a couple other people they're playing. They swing their flamingos. Some are having a harder time holding on to their flamingos as they swing it through the croquet gardens. And eventually, some time goes up, and you're seeing this all kind of play out. You're seeing the queen's card guards taking a lot of advantage of the situation to get the queen on the board. She's at 28 points. It takes 30 to win. And Thal, you're very close behind at 25 points. So all you have to do is make 5 more in this next round to beat the queen.
Okay.
All right, fine. Your turn, Thal.
Okay. Oh, shit. Shit. Okay. All right. I'll going to whack it again, or do I have to roll for?
Yep,
Okay.
just roll athletics.
Please be good. Oh, 19 again.
All right,
I
so
have 4 in athletics, y'all.
so you swing down the flamingo as the hedgehog rolls. It rolls through one, and it rolls through another, and then it rolls through another, and it kind of dips down into a little bit of a pool, and everyone's like in hushed terms, like, "Oh, is it going to get to the next one?" And then it rolls to the fourth one, giving you 4 points. You're officially ahead of the queen. But then, just as it's rolling to the last one, a card guard moves out of the way so it goes past. But then you see just a little pink and purple thing appear below it, and the card guard jumps back out of the way as it rolls to the fifth and final one. Everyone claps very politely and stuff, and then the Queen of Hearts, she says, rule number 743, an underlined rule. The Queen gets the final strike. So everyone's just kind of like, so the Queen of Hearts, she swings down, and then you hear someone go, achoo! And she swings and she hits the hedgehog, but it bounces off the wall and down into the slope, only getting into one of the card guards hole or rings. And then you see just beyond her, no one else can really see it except for you, Thal. You see that the Cheshire cat gives you a wink before it dematerializes out of the way. The
He's not
the
alive.
the white rabbit, he the winner of today's croquet is, and the Queen of Hearts goes, and White Rabbit goes, the Queen of Hearts, and everyone's like, yay, clap, 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 clap. And then the Queen says, you play a very good game. Good job, that. But of course, I win. On to the next game. You guys exit kind of the courtyard here, are the gardens of the croquet, and down into a small little clearing meadow with some roses that smell kind of like paint a little bit, have that smell of paint, and some of the roses are like dripping red, and some of them look like they have white underneath of them. The queen steps forward as you see this huge long table in the center of the meadow, and there are different ingredients and flowers and roots and things all on this table, and you see 4 wooden stoves kind of carved into the outer wall of the court here. And then you see the Mad Hatter, who stands at the center of the table on top of it, and he says, gather round, everyone, gather round. And everyone seems to enter this area. All right, contestants, you step forward.
Steps
As-
forward.
Steps
Uh,
forward with Elowen.
All right. Today you must make the Queen of Hearts' favorite tea and tart in order to win today's competition. The judge will be the Queen of Hearts. Oh, lovely. Now, you have approximately 30 minutes to do so. Your time starts. And he looks around the room. The anticipation builds and builds and builds. And he pulls out his clock and he says, oh, dude, that's not wrong. And he takes it open, slabs some butter in it as gears and things fly out of it, and he slams it forward and he goes, now! So Bailey and Elowen, you step forward to your table and you kind of have your own station. You have some teapots, flour, eggs in a basket that are all rainbow colored and in different shapes and sizes and things like that. Nothing really you're used to except for maybe save a few ingredients. Some flowers is typical and things like that, but everything just seems so different.
Okay. You got the tea?
Yeah, but I don't know what her favorite tea is. Do you know what her favorite tart is?
Of course not, but I'm gonna do the best I can.
Okay, I think that's a good idea. Looking around, I think she might like roses. I might make her a nice rose tea. Very floral, maybe some honey in it.
That's a really good idea. I'm gonna look to see if there's any fruit or anything that might be like a strawberry or a cherry. I'm gonna try to make her something that is red, and I'm gonna shape the cookies like hearts.
I love that. Perfect. Well, let's get to work.
Okay,
To be roll me for me.
nature.
Hmm.
Okay. Um,
A -1.
We're gonna do 14.
Okay. So, Eloin, you gather your ingredients. You gather some water from the nearby well, and start putting it on the stove where there's an open fire, and start boiling your kettle. And you gather the rest of your ingredients. You got some herbs, some things that just look to you pretty similar. You're kind of going through, you're smelling them, and you kind of taste a little bit. You're like, oh, that tastes good. So you mash it up, you grind it all up in a little mortar and pestle. As you wait for your tea to boil, you also find some roses. However, these roses smell not fresh.
They don't smell fresh. Okay. Looking around, she's gonna look at the rose bushes that are surrounding them, and she notices that there's paint on some of them, but she is going to go find a bud that has not bloomed, so it hasn't been painted yet.
Mhm.
Can she find one?
Yep.
Okay. She is going to cast Druidcraft on the bloom so it can uh, grow into a flower, and she's gonna pluck it, and then she is gonna go and get it dry, or she's gonna like squish it down, get all the things, and she's gonna grind it mortar and pestle to make her rose tea.
The rose blooms. It is white. As it grows out, and then you pluck it, you pull it over, put it in the mortar and pestle, and gather with the rest of your ingredients. Bailey,
okay. Like I said, she's gonna look to see if there's any fruit or like a red jam or anything like that.
what'd you roll?
Oh, I rolled a 13.
Okay. So you kind of go around the table, picking up some strange looking fruits and things like this. You pop one into your mouth and it tastes like turkey. And then you pop some in your mouth. This one tastes like mashed potatoes and gravy. One tastes like jelly beans. And then you find some that taste very familiar, of like cherries and raspberries. Though they are like this kind of fuchsia color with magenta little polka dots inside of them. And you pluck them and pull them over. Anything
Okay.
else?
She will use the good pink fruits to make like a jam or something.
Yeah.
And she'll make with a recipe that she used to use with Mia, little cookies shaped like hearts with like some cookie around the outside and then the jam coloring in the heart in the middle. Maybe like some powdered sugar.
Sure. So you pop that cookie into the stove oven. You kind of let it simmer, giving you guys a little bit of time to kind of converse between the two. As the Mad Hatter kind of pokes over, he goes, "Ah, yes, hello. What are we making for the Queen today?"
Hello, I am making a delicious rose tea, and my friend Bailey is.
Making heart-shaped fruit cookies.
Ah, very interesting. I'm sure the Queen will like it. And
Thank you.
he walks away as he kind of looks over at the other contestants as they're making their teas and tarts and things like that. Eventually, your water is starting to steam over, and you pour it into the cup with the rest of the tea, and you kind of infuse it into the drink. And then the cookies come out. They're fresh and smelling sweet and kind. You make your jam, you paint it all up, and then you hear, "And time is up! Everyone, utensils down, and you may present them to the queen." Um, So you have it all prepared on the trays as you take it forward. Um, although, is it Bailey or Ellen that's carrying the tray?
Bailey, you go to it. She likes you more.
Sure, no problem. She'll carry the tray over to the queen.
Can you roll a dexterity saving throw for me?
Ooh. Uh-oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. We should be all right. 19.
Okay. So out from underneath the table, you see a foot come out to try to trip you from going to the queen. But expertly and dexterously, you maneuver your way out of the way of the tripping foot and place your tray on the table. Everyone else seems to do so, and she comes down the line, tasting those, and she's adequate. Oh, this tastes awful. She bites into another tart, and she's like, "Ooh, that's quite tasty." And then the next one down, and she just kind of goes and goes and goes until finally she comes to your table. She goes, "Ah, Bailey, my once favorite. What did you make for me?"
These are heart-shaped cookies, and Elowen made a rose tea.
Hmm, interesting. How did you know hearts were my favorite?
Lucky guess.
I knew you were good for something. Anyways, she bites into the cook and into the tart. She said, this is raspberries in it.
Possibly.
And tastes like cherries." And she wanders for a moment. She goes, "Reminds me of my childhood.
Me
I had a
too.
horrible childhood.
I'm sorry to
But
hear that.
good. I like them. Let's wash it down with this rose tea." And she takes a sip of it, and she goes, sweet. Reminds me of my sister. I hate my sister. But it's not bad. Better than others. But I think I've decided. Everyone, I would like to announce my favorite tea and tart." And everyone kind of like hushed tones in the garden as you all stand on anticipation. She converses with her court, and then the white rabbit hops up on a little stone pedestal and the Queen of Hearts' favorite is. There's silence, hushed anticipation as the anticipation grows and grows and grows. Bailey and Elowen.
Aye.
And the Queen of Hearts, she steps forward. She says, "Now, of course, this is now my recipe. They didn't make it, it's now mine. Thank you. All
Absolutely.
right, time for the final round. Everyone gather down to the tournament area in just half an hour." And they all leave the garden, and leaving you five all together for a moment to kind of converse for a little bit before you need to head down to the arena.
Excellent, you guys.
We did great, and you did great too, Thal. I,
Yeah.
you would have won, but
You should have won.
You did
yeah.
win.
You did win.
Had a little help, actually. Um,
From
maybe at the end.
yours truly, as the Cheshire Cat appears.
Yay.
And he has a tea cup in his hand and he drinks it. He goes, "Oh, God. That's awful." Anyways, yes, you should have won. But it's the Queen of Hearts. You know how she is.
Well, now we do, I guess.
Well, good luck in the next tournament, you two.
Is
Should
there any
be
advice?
fun.
I was
Yeah.
just about to say, got any helpful tips?
Well, last time I gave out advice, someone very seldom followed it. But I suppose I could help you if you'll listen. The Queen
I
of
will
Hearts.
try.
Queen of Hearts really likes showing off and flair, as I'm sure you all have seen. That is important to remember. The thing is, though, she likes drama. She likes flair. Play that to your strength, and you may just win this tournament. Although, your contender for today's tournament, why, he's traveled a long way to win over the Queen's heart. Rather strapping young lad, I do say so myself. He has a bit of fey inside of him. Strong, agile. He also wears a skirt.
To each their own.
Interesting. Now, if you don't mind, I have some other little hedgehogs to play with. Ta-ta! And he floats off and disappears.
Yeah, he kind of helped me a little bit.
So, am I supposed to like kill this strong guy, or are we just like having like a duel? Nobody's gonna die.
Or is it like who can kill the most of the little things?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay.
Alice did say that there should only be one victor.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
Play dead.
I mean, if I know anything about the Queen of Hearts, I imagine you probably have to kill the guy.
So I think that I'm gonna have to kill what we are assuming are the Dreamless. But the other guy is also competing. But just because he's strong does not mean that we can't make the battle with the Dreamless more dramatic. Meryl and I.
Okay, wait. If there's only one victor, and there's two of us entering on a team, do we count as one person?
I think we count as one person.
Okay. If you have to kill me,
No.
we'll make it dramatic, but I hope we count as one person.
No, I would not. Aren't I supposed to like protect you or something like that? Like I don't
It's
think
gonna be a
that.
give and take sort of deal. Yeah, I'll stand
Okay.
behind you for sure, but you know.
Well, what I'm thinking is I might like fall down on purpose a couple times, make it look dramatic, do some jumping around, pretend to. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I don't know if you kind of want to like
You
hop on
go in
that
a
boat. Like
tense
if
space when you fight, and your veins pop out of your head and you're all so do that too. Good.
I mean I can try.
Yeah.
Meryl, maybe some extra flair when you're casting spells.
Yes, I'll do lots of whoosh and
Anything sparkly? Red sparkly. Do you have red sparkly? Can you make things red sparkly? What if you like red sparkly with some of the moves he does?
I don't know if I can do that, but I can uh yeah, I could do something dramatic. I got some stuff. If anything gets too close to me, I have something I can do too. So, we'll see.
In a moment, you start to see little glittering things in the air start to swirl and form as it grows into a bigger glittering cloud, and then eventually, the fairy godmother appears, and she like brushes herself off and like holds Eliot's wand in her hand, and she says, "Ah, my dears, I've finally been able to find you. It's been quite hard. I didn't realize the tournament was going on, but I have something very important to tell you." "Well, come out, child. It's fine." And from behind the fairy godmother, Talib, appears. And she says, "I found him wandering the gardens just earlier, and he said that he knew you, Evelyn."
Yes, yes, he does. And she's going to run up to him and give him a big hug.
Talib embraces Elowen just as tightly back, and you kind of see like tears well up in his eyes, and he's like, "I finally found you."
I am so glad you got out of the maze. And I'm so glad I found you. I thought I could never find you again. I thought you were
It's
lost forever.
Yeah. Well, until you told me to get lost, I found my way out. So the only way I got out was because of you. So thank you.
Of course, I would do anything for you, Talib. It's so good to see you. We have to catch up. You have to tell me all that you've done and why you ran away.
Of course, in due time, I will go over everything. But who are your friends?
Oh, since I've left the tribe, I met a bunch of people, and they're my friends, and it's actually a long story, but this is my good friend Bailey and Lucan and Meryl and Thal.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm Talib.
Hi.
I come from the Forest of Dusk and Dawn over in Altus, obviously where Elwin's from as well, and he bows to you all. Um, of course, wouldn't be able to completely say that I've been able to find my way on my own. There was a woman that I met with black hair and crows for friends. She helped me find you. She said that she knew you. She
She
called
does.
herself the Maiden.
Hmm.
Yeah, we know of her.
She's a
She
friend.
saved my life. There were these awful black creatures that, I don't know, it made me feel really drowsy, and she thwarted them all. She
Those are called
had
the Dreamless.
the Dreamless?
Yeah, they've been popping up everywhere, and we don't know why.
Hmm, well, that's odd. You know me, I love all creatures of Yuna's kind, but Dreamless, I've never heard of it.
I don't think they're creatures. Not in the way you and I understand creatures to be. These are more like magical beings of darkness.
Hmm. And Fairy Godmother steps forward and she says, well, I have a little bit more things to do today. There's so many more wishes to grant. It's hard for one. I have to find out where Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather have gone off to. They've been in a tizzy over in the kingdom of Oraton. Apparently something growing in dark over there. And I'm really worried about Aurora. No one's heard from her in a long time.
Um,
Oh,
dark as in like dreamless dark are happening over there.
Thorns. Thick thorns. Ones that rival Maleficent's power. I thought it was her, but there's no way that she could be here. She's in the castle of Eternal Dark, or that never existed.
well, there was thorns surrounding Beast Castle too.
Hmm. There must be something darker at play. Talib, I need your help. Back at the Hall of Stories. We can do some more research about the streamless creatures that keep appearing in places. What do you say? Will you join me? And Talib looks at Eloin and he says, "Is it okay if I go with her?"
Of course.
If I
Just
go,
know that if
yeah,
you
go.
always need to find me, I'm sure that you will. We're we will always be linked, and Fairy Godmother is a good friend of ours now.
Good, good. That's good to see. And Fairy Godmother says, "Don't worry, my dear. I will absolutely send you back to your friends as soon as we're done. I will not hold you captive like some people in this place. Ah, it's awful. Now, where did I put that wand?" And she goes through her robes again, and she said, "Oh,
And
keep forgetting it's in my hand. Oh, yes, thou. Did you need something?"
also, this we've heard about this Dreamshade that they've been growing, and we think it might be in connection to what Corella was using, right, Bailey?
I think it's possible.
Could you possibly look into that?
Absolutely. Dreamshade. Well, it only exists here in Everas, or in Underland. It can't grow anywhere else, so
What's
I
it
would.
used for?
Well, it was used back in the day when this kind of world first began, and uh, Helena. Oh, I should not have said that. She goes by the Queen of Hearts. Um, when she first ruled Underland, people were having trouble sleeping in this world. It was different for them, so Dreamshade had grown here in the valley, and it helped people fall asleep. Although in large doses it is quite deadly. It's near the Crimson Crowns, where they used to grow, before it all burned down when Eliot and his white letter Jade got into some trouble, but that does happen. So you
Where
think
the
there's what?
sorry. Go ahead.
You think there's some type of connection with the Dreamshade?
With a little bit. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be
If
the cause of Elliot's sleep because
But it could be used in an ingredient of the curse.
That is quite no.
maybe.
If you figure out all the ingredients of the curse, I might be able to figure out exactly which curse was placed over the world. That could be important. There are many curses, hexes, jinxes, spells, and charms that exist all throughout Everas. So it's highly important that we find out all of the ingredients to this curse. Evelyn, I'm sure, would help us, but she's deals in curses and things of that nature. But unfortunately, the villains have been all rounded up in the castle that never existed. Anyways, Talib and I here, your friend, will look more into finding this Dreamshade and see the connection that you have with Cruella, but that does beg the question, if Cruella came back, what about the other villains?
Well, we've seen Hook,
Hook's here.
and yeah, and I don't know if you remember this, but Lady Tremaine was in the storybook wills, as was Gaston.
Oh dear. The storybook words are one thing, and they don't really exist. They're pocket realms. So that's important to know. The only people that, well, this does beg another question. I've got to consult the books. Come on, Talib, there's much to discuss. We'll try to find all of our information that we can. Good luck.
You too.
Bippity, boppity, boo. And sparkles and glitter just go around Talib and the fairy godmother. They disappear, and you hear bells in the distance as it's closing in time to go to the tourney match.
Yeah, I take a 2-minute bathroom break.
Yeah,
I had to blow my
if
nose so bad.
yeah, if anybody else needs to take a break, go to the restroom because I could probably use the restroom too. So
Yeah, I'll go.
okay, me back in a couple minutes.
I don't know what else to do with YouTube. Just gonna sit here.
What?
I was talking to YouTube.
Oh,
I was like, I'm dancing. I don't know what else to do. YouTube. Did you read the additions I put in
yes.
yesterday?
Oh, yesterday, no.
Okay. Not with the staff and the red coat and
Mm-mm.
okay.
I'll have to read that tonight.
Yeah. I'm hoping things line up because I was
Okay.
free balling. That's what the magic of writing is.
Right. I feel that. I feel that for sure.
Yeah. All right, back to normal. No more rave.
You're fine.
I don't know.
You don't know what?
I don't know when I wrote it. Days are bleeding together. I added the music today. Also, the format got all messed up. I don't know how to
Oh
fix it.
yeah.
It's making everything like double pages. Like I have not written 149 pages.
I was wondering about that. I was like, damn, she wrote a lot since 90 pages.
I know. I
Was
was like,
it
that is
to the behind closed doors?
yeah. That's the only document. And I can create a new one, of course, but I can't figure it out. I've tried this computer, my phone, my new laptop. I don't know if like Sydney like saw her butt on my computer or something. I messed it up.
Your dog. I was like, wait.
Yeah, sorry, my dog. Yeah, right now, like my documents look like oh my god, like this. Like there's a whole like blank page and then my paragraph start again. But every page is like that. Spoilers in there, so don't read that.
There we go. I just created a new document and reformatted it.
Yeah, I did that. Well,
Oh, okay.
partially did that. And the new stuff isn't in there, but your stuff on the new stuff.
Yeah, I just copied and pasted it into a new document because yeah, it wasn't even letting me edit it either.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. So it's Google Docs. I gotta get Microsoft Word. I have a free version of Word.
Oh wait.
We could wait till after. So it's okay. I don't mean everybody's back now. I feel bad.
It's a header. We got to figure out how to fix that
Well,
header.
I tried to.
Wait, is it like half the page is blank? Because I've had this problem before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the only way that I think if you highlight where that gap is and you go into format. Oh, but you're on Word, not Drive. There is
I'm
a way
on
to get rid of
docs.
it. Oh, you're on
I'm on
Docs?
Yeah.
Okay, so highlight that whole section, like highlight all that big gap, and if you
It
go
doesn't.
It
into,
won't let us.
you can't highlight.
I yeah.
Try to highlight anything before or after, and if you go into line and paragraph spacing and you go down, there should be like remove space before or after paragraph.
These have add. It's I think somehow the header itself has created a giant gap, and
Yeah.
we can't even remove the
The
header
header.
at all because it doesn't even show that there's anything to highlight. There's I don't
So
know.
if you click on the header and go to the blue options drop down and click
Yeah,
header format, you can modify how many inches it is from the
I
top.
tried that.
It doesn't work.
Nope.
Well,
Yeah,
time to copy and paste and go to a new
yeah,
document.
that's what I was thinking.
Honestly, that
That's what I
sucks.
get for writing about Underland.
I've had that happen before. I do feel like we figured out how to fix it though, but you could always just start a new doc.
I'm blaming the Cheshire cat. It's his fault.
All right, let's go ahead and get. Yeah, what do you guys want to do before you want to do anything before you get down to the arena?
Mm,
Oh, I need to look at my spells real fast. See if I can do anything to help.
Good luck, guys. You got this.
Thank you.
Oh, it only lasts 10 minutes. Damn it. Okay. Well, before you go in, I'm going to give you Bardic Inspiration. They'll use for the first 10 minutes. So you get a bonus action. Oh, wait, as a bonus action, inspiration die 1d6 for 10 minutes. A creature can add it to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
Is this a spell slot or anything?
Yes.
I would say save it. Because
Oh.
it's going to be longer than 10 minutes to get down to the arena and get everything started.
Well, yeah, before like he goes in, like right before I'm gonna bop him
There's
around the
going
butt. Oh no. Okay, I'll
I
save
would
it.
say save it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so as you head down the trail, down into the arena area, you see the card guards ushering the contenders off to a separate tent while all the spectators have to go off into a different area. Um, you all head into this giant circular arena where there's just a huge like grassy playing field in the center, and then you see this band up in the stands where there's this beautiful looking heart shaped like podium like canopy thing where the Queen of Hearts and her court kind of preside over the area. There's big banners and all of those things. Um, and then the horns go off, the trumpets and things like that go off and play. Let me do this. As music, the big celebration of everything going on, and the crowds all cheer as you see the contenders all stepping forward on this big arena. Um, the contenders that you can see is uh, this man in some armor, coiffed hair and a headband on, orange hair. He's a very built, buff man, good looking, probably say around 20 or so, just on the cusp of that. He waves to the crowd, like adoring fans or whatever, just kind of showing off in this big thing, and the crowd goes wild. And then also you see a soldier, a man that looks very timid and scared of what's going on. And you can see he's almost shaking in his boots. And then you have Lucan and Meryl as you step forward. There are 4 contenders in this match. Um, as you all step forward from the ground, you see that there are hedges all around the circular of the of the arena, and then this like kind of magical glittering dome gets placed over it. It doesn't no glass, you can still hear everything, but it's basically to keep everything on the inside of the arena. The queen steps forward and she says, "Ladies and gentlemen of Underland and all creatures that reside in her beautiful grace, it is I, the Queen of Hearts, here to preside over the final match of today's tournament. Today, our contenders that you see here will be fighting for this." And you see the trophy get presented by the White Rabbit, and the crowd cheers and goes wild over it all. Whoever wins today's champion will get this trophy, and also any sentencing to have their heads gone will be null and void. You have my word. Now, if they can score enough points to win and outmatch my points, which I'm at like a lot, those points are being still tallied, so no one will know what it is. Just me and the tallier. And the crowd, kind of just cheers and on. It's Underland. It's the Queen of Hearts. She makes up her own rules. Their journey today is the first person to defeat 10 of these magical little black creatures that come through in the time frame allotted will advance on to the next round where they will fight with their next component. Today we have 2 people joining as one team. That is Mr. Lucan and Miss Merrill. And the crowd kind of, cheers and stuff like that. And the next is our white knave. And the soldier kind of steps forward that was shaking, and the crowd kind of goes wild, and whatever. And then finally, last but not least, hailing from outside of our realms, coming here to see us and what Underland has, is the one, the only, Hercules! And the arena goes wild and loud as he waves again to the crowd. Because Hercules has such prowess, he is advancing automatically into the next round. So this means the White Knave and the team of Lucan and Merrill will go up first. 10 Dreamless, and because there is 2 fighting as 1, they must defeat 15. Now, in just a moment, your arena will appear, and things will grow out of the ground. Trees, and mountains, and things like this. So you will feel as if you are no longer in an arena. There will be caves to explore, castles to explore, and we can all see you as if you're in an arena. But only you will see the different world. Now, I'd like to see some flair, my friends. Good luck, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Let the game begin. And the crowd kind of goes wild, and things like that just kind of simmer down as a world is created in the arena around Merrill and Lucan, and the sound of the crowd kind of dims, and you see just this lush, overgrown forest where flowers are taller than you, and grass blades seem like giant trees, and you can no longer see the arena or anything else. But there is a small path forward. What do you do?
Well,
Alright, we're gonna just follow the path and look for little dusty purple wispies.
kick him in the face. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, question though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, actually, a question for
Oh.
Luke. While we're walking and looking, do you want me to like focus on flair and killing them, or like making sure that you're okay?
I mean, first and foremost, I'd like to be okay, but
Okay.
I mean, you can mainly focus on like just doing fancy things, make everything look good, like I don't know,
Okay.
dance around me or something, but
Well, I want to make things look good. So the first thing I'm gonna do first, just to hopefully so that I don't have to pay quite as much attention. We'll see how it goes. And she'll step back and she'll hopefully, if people are watching, she'll kind of mimic the way that the fairy godmother was like waving her wand, and in her head be like bippity boppity boo, and cast oh god, what's it called? Shield of Faith on you. And if I'm allowed to control the way that it looks sort of like a 3D heart, like kind of whoop around you like a bubble and then disappears, and it gives you +2 to your AC.
Okay.
For 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
So the magic explodes in the heart as it goes around you, and 5 Dreamless kind of come up from the ground and wispy black and magic smoke, and they go in for the attack. Since it's just the two, oh yeah, go ahead and roll initiative, the two of you.
Oh.
Ooh. That was a 5.
An 18.
Okay. So Meryl will be first, followed by Lucan, followed by the 5.
Are they surrounding us, or are they?
They're off. Not, they have not surrounded you. They're in front of you.
Okay. Like, okay, good luck. And I'm gonna run 15 feet in the opposite direction, away from them. And then I'm gonna whip around, and like as I whip, my hair's gonna, and then I'm gonna hold out my wand and Eldritch Blast one of them. And it's gonna, because she seems very easy to please, it's gonna look like a little heart that like comets straight at the thing, red glitter and things.
Sure.
I have to roll an attack.
Yep.
Oh, that's not great. I also know this song. 14.
Okay. Does it only hit one?
Yes, it's only once right now.
Okay. That one vanishes off and
Huzzah.
sparkles off. Yep.
I crouched down. My shield. I have my turn.
Oh, okay. So then Lucan will go after the next one, and he'll pull out the little sword that he got, and kind of like do a little like spin with it, and as he's like coming back, try and hit it.
Sure. Okay. So with that flare, go ahead and roll performance and then the AC.
Ooh.
I figured that was gonna be it. So 10. Where's my? Oh, so 10 is my performance.
Okay.
And then I don't know what the things are for the sword.
Yeah, I got you.
I rolled a 16.
You rolled a 16.
Mm-hmm.
That does hit. Let me give you the stats for. Okay. It is a 1d6 piercing.
Okay.
Oh, yes, that does hit, yeah.
And is it a martial weapon or a simple weapon because I am
Yes.
proficient?
Yes.
Okay. So that is a 6. So 8, correct?
Yep, you got it.
Okay.
Okay. So you slice through the next one with a bit of finesse. It doesn't seem exactly what you wanted to do. Still a little like shaky from getting back into the group of battle, but you slice down into one and it also disappears as well. So then there are 3 left. First one does not get to hit. First one definitely doesn't get to hit, and the last one doesn't get to hit. So they all come for you, but you're able to like kind of dodge out of the way and move. Back to Meryl.
Oh boy. I was looking for a GIF instead of paying attention. So I'm gonna switch it up, and this time she'll stand up straight and she'll kind of like focus with the wand in front of her, and then she'll raise it up in the air and she'll cast Sacred Flame. And like a red glowing flame descends down upon one of them, and it has to, I believe, make a dexterity saving throw and
Okay.
beat a 14.
So it does beat it. So it does take half damage?
So
Probably does.
It does not say.
Okay.
It says make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 radiant damage. So I don't think it takes anything.
Okay, or take the 1d8. So we're going to go ahead and just say that it takes the 1d8.
It takes the 1d8. Woo!
Are you going after just the next one?
Just whatever, yeah.
Okay, sure.
It's within
Okay.
60 feet of me, I guess.
Okay. You said it was only 8 damage?
Nope. 2.
Okay, 2. Okay, so that one is still alive. But there's still 3 left. Back to Lucan.
All right. He is going to skip the one that Meryl hit and like go to the one next to that, and raise up the sword and just like slice it down the middle.
Okay.
That is a 11,
Yep, that hits.
and for 6 damage.
For 6 damage? Okay. Alrighty, so you slice through it. It kind of dematerializes, then like kind of strings back together, in a dusty throw, but it looks definitely hurt. Okay. First one does not hit. Second, oh, they got the same exact one. Okay, 16. So this one is the one that just came after Luke, like the one that Lucan hit. And what's your AC? It might not hit.
So normally it is 14, but I get +2 because of
So
Meryl.
16. Okay, so it meets your go, so that does mean that it does hit. So it comes down with, let's see, where's I'm missing a dice. Okay, it's okay. It goes for 4 damage. It comes down with its claws and kind of swipes out Lucan. It kind of scrapes through your undershirt, but it doesn't like pierce it super bad. You don't get hit or anything. I always say that like HP is kind of your like will to survive, and then your final hit is like the actual hit that hits you. So okay, cool. And then that's back to Meryl.
Okay. She's gonna look at the one she just hit and didn't kill, and go foul beast, and then charge even more energy in her wand and cast witch bolt at it,
Okay,
which is 14 to hit.
Yep.
Okay. I wasn't expecting to use this spell.
It's okay. Witch bolt's one of my
That's-
favorite spells.
It's great. 8 damage. And as
Okay.
it like shoots out of my wand halfway through, it does a little heart shape and then zips back at it and then hits it in the face.
Okay, roll performance. Any extra flair, yes, is gonna have a performance.
My performance is actually not bad. 17.
Okay, yep, perfect. So when you come down, you slash through. Yeah, it makes that big heart kind of through, and then it like zips through like Cupid's arrow almost, and disintegrates that one. So 3 are down, 2 to go. Lucan.
Okay. So he's like, I think he's also like going to do kind of a flare thing too again, since he's like right there. And he's just gonna like kind of do the same thing, but like spin around real quick and
Okay.
not very fancy with this one.
You're
It's
fine.
okay.
Performance and AC.
So my performance was 11.
Okay.
AC is 16.
Yep, that hits.
And 1? Wait, 3.
3. Okay, and that was the one that you were already attacking?
Yeah.
Okay. So getting a little bit more in the groove of battle, still a little nervous, still a little that you swinging around, slice through it, cutting it open, and it disintegrates, leaving only 1 left. And it got a 3, so it does not hit. Back to Meryl.
So, seeing that there's only 1 left, I'm going to shout at Lucan, together, Lucan, and I'm going to hold my action with an Eldritch Blast to shoot it right when Lucan attacks it too, so we like attack it at the same time, and it looks
Okay.
yeah.
Sure. What's damage?
So that's an 18 to hit.
Okay.
Damage would be. Which one is it for damage for my Eldritch Blast? I use too many different spells all at once. What?
Is
It's a
Eldritch Blast?
D10. I'm just gonna roll it on here because.
Is that gonna hit me?
No.
No.
Okay.
Nope, not D100. Sorry, guys.
You're okay.
Sure what Eldritch
Which one
Blast
is it
I guess
there?
Warlock. 1d10 is normally for Warlock.
Yeah. 8.
And then Lucan?
So he's gonna like hear Meryl, and he's gonna start like high, like prancing over, like long, like stride, like little steps with the sword, like straight out until he just can like thrust it right into the
Sure.
Dreamless.
Yep.
Does that
that's fine.
also need
Nope.
a fin? Okay. That is a not one.
No.
So
Trip
as
and
you're
fall.
as you're running forward, you forget the weight of the sword and it kind of sticks into the ground and you almost like you're like as you stick into the ground. But thankfully, like this Eldritch Splash like whooshes past you and disintegrates the next one, defeating all 5. You hear a firework go up in the air. And the number 5 appears in the forest. But then the forest starts to switch and change, and then all of a sudden you are in a underground cavern where there's like a yellow and green pool of waterfall and river that kind of like doesn't stay on the ground. It like moves in a stream like around the cavern, and like waterfalls are going upwards, and it's just this very strange place. And 5 more appear. So we'll start back at the top.
Okay.
There.
I've got to save some of my spell slots. There's a lot. So we'll try it again, and I'll thrust my wand into the air, and I'll cast Sacred Flame at whichever one's closest.
Okay.
At a dexterity save, and they got to be 14.
Okay. Yeah, they fail.
Woo! 6.
6 points of damage for the first one. Okay. Lucan?
I mean, I guess he'll just go for like the next one, after the one that Meryl.
So you
Hit.
realize as the cave has now surrounded you, your sword is now stuck in a stone. Go ahead and roll a strength saving or a strength check.
Oh no. So
That's a lot.
my strength is +5, but I rolled a fucking 2.
Hot.
So you kind of like try to pull it out of the stone, and you like look over at Meryl like. So alrighty. So the first one, nope. Oh, nat 20. So this one is coming after Meryl. It's gonna
no.
be double damage on this one, so it comes at you with its claws. 7 points of damage.
That's not bad, actually.
And let's see, that was 3, and then there's 2 more. Nope. And nope. Okay, back to Meryl.
She's gonna just kind of pinch her brow, looking at Lucan real quick, and then let me see. So the one that's closest to me is in melee.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna. Where is it? I'm going to put my wand in my other hand. I'm gonna reach back, and as I reach back, like red flares are gonna kind of come off across my hand, and then I'm gonna slap the thing in the face and cast Inflict Wounds.
Okay.
And it's a melee spell attack.
Okay.
Oh, that's 25.
Yep, definitely hits. And how much damage?
3d10. Oh, that's one.
I won't even have you roll because it had like 2 points of damage, so there's no way that. Okay, so this one just, as you come down and slap it, it just bursts.
It was 19
and
points of
explodes.
damage.
Yeah, that's overkill for sure. And then now we're back at Lucan.
Like, okay, so Is he able to pick the rock up? Like, let go of the sword and pick the rock up?
You would be better at throwing strength for the sword than throwing the huge boulder out
Okay.
of the... Yeah.
Okay, so he's gonna give his sword another pull. And that is a 18 plus 5.
Perfect. Yep. So you finally brandish it out of the rock, and you can go ahead and attack.
10
Yep. 10 hits.
and 11. Or no, 6, 7, 8. Never mind.
8 points of damage.
It looked
Okay.
like a 9. And then
No,
I
you're good.
remembered what dice I was rolling.
That's all good. So you slice into it and also disintegrates, leaving 3 left. So that would be 1. Okay, so this one comes after Lucan. Hits with 4 points of damage. Back to Meryl.
I'll just blast the same one that she just hit. Oh, that's a natural 1.
Okay. So the wand in your hand, it like, for whatever, it's like almost like the red glowing crystal, it kind of like fades and fizzles, and your spell doesn't go through.
God, cheap thing. Whacking it.
Right. Lucan?
So he's gonna try the prancing thing again and kind of like prance on over because he finally got his sword out and go for the. Is it third or fourth one?
There are 2 left.
Okay, so third one, and that is a nat 20.
Double damage.
Well, I rolled a 1 and I'm proficient, so that was 3, so 6.
6. Yep, 6 points of damage. So you thrust through that one. And it looks like worse for wear with that guy. So 2 left. They both do not hit. Back at Meryl.
I'll just blast. 14 points of damage. Or 14 to hit.
Yep.
God damn. 1d10. I should just have this queued up. 7 points.
Okay, so that's the one that Lucan just hit.
Yes.
Okay, that one also disintegrates. Leaving 1 left. Lucan?
All right. This is probably not gonna go well, but he's gonna try and do he's gonna like tuck down and try and like do a somersault and like time it so he like perfectly stands up into the.
So that will be a performance.
I rolled 6 on performance.
Okay.
Am I still rolling for?
Yeah, you're still roll AC.
7.
No, that does not hit. So you
Rightfully
go to
so.
right. You go to roll in the cavern floor and realize how rocky and that hurts your back, so it doesn't support your roll. And you kind of like, and then nothing is there to like. And it just like the Dreamless just kind of stares at you, like with its dark purple eyes. Okay. Last one. 5. Nope. Back to Lucan or Meryl.
So this time we'll do a Toll the Dead, and she'll kind of use the thing like it's a conductor's wand, you know? And then little dinging bells play everywhere, and it has to succeed on a wisdom saving throw.
It fails.
Has it taken damage yet?
No.
No, okay. That's fine. 3 points of damage.
Okay, sure. All right, Lucan.
So he's gonna like climb up onto his knees. Is he close enough though at this point? Like he could just like.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's just gonna like climb up onto his knees and like slash through it.
Okay.
That is 12.
Okay, yep, that hits.
Wrong dice. 6.
Alrighty. So that would have. So it disintegrates into kind of nothingness as the stream of green and yellow water kind of splashes down all around you, and then evaporates into a mist. And eventually, now you're in this like giant chessboard. There are no pieces except for you two on one side, and the other ones you see the final five. Although weirdly enough, the fives start like twitching and
no.
and they start to form into one giant one. We'll still keep the same uh oops. We'll still keep the same initiative. So Meryl, you are first.
Okay. How far away is it about? Can we tell?
50 feet.
Okay. Oh. Okay. This one's kind of scary. So for now, I'm just going to run 10 steps back, so I'm 60 feet away from it. And I'm going to cast an Eldritch Blast. And I've gotten more serious because this is a little bit scarier, and I've kind of dropped all of the theatrics, and it comes out like it normally does, which is like a black and purple jet of energy in it, the shoot, because she's a little afraid. So that's a 17 to hit.
That hits.
8 points of damage.
Okay. All right, Lucan.
Did you say 50 or 15?
50.
Oh. So he can't just, like, run over there?
Then 30 feet, you'd still be 20 feet away.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, you can get 30 feet closer.
So he's going to get 30 feet closer, but whatever color he was standing on to begin with, I don't know if it was the black or white checker, but he's gonna, like, hop.
Okay. So
his
you'll
way
roll
there.
performance for that.
10.
Okay. So as you start running forward across the chessboard, the pieces start to move and go up and down, and some disappear and things like that. So you managed to hop across a couple. Even with that 10, you still managed to get that length across as you're hopping and jumping across these moving chess pieces back and forth. But yeah, since you're only 30 feet away, yeah. Okay, so this one is going to come up closer. It's going to kind of form and rampage as it climbs up, with these giant black-looking hands, and it pulls itself up and launches itself up into the air, and then lands in front of Lucan. It doesn't get to hit. It does not meet your AC, so we're back at Meryl.
Okay. So I'm going to creep 15 feet closer.
Okay, so you're at the edge of the chessboard now.
Yeah. Closer to Lucan and so I went
15 feet back, so you moved away from the chessboard.
Yeah, I went 10 feet back the first round, and now I'd like to go 15 feet forward.
Okay, so you're 5 feet onto the board. Got it.
Yes, yeah, closer to them, and then I'll cast a guiding bolt, and it. What do I do with it? Ranged spell attack.
Okay.
Hit. 18.
That hits.
Okay.
And then also need a roll performance to climb onto the board.
Oh. 16.
Okay, yep. And then how much is damage?
4d6 for a total of 15 points of damage. And Lucan, you have advantage on your next attack against the creature.
Okay.
Right, Lucan, yep.
So Lucan is going to enter rage.
Okay.
And he's just gonna, like, the veins pop out on his forehead, and like it's almost like his arms kind of like swell up just a little bit, and then he will try and slash the creature, and that is a 8.
Yeah, it does not hit.
You have
unfortunately.
advantage. You have
Yes.
advantage.
Oh, poop.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You literally just said that, and I forgot. Well, 8. So, that was a 5.
Okay. So then now it is coming after Lucan with a 10 plus 2, so 12, so that does not hit either.
Oh,
Back to
okay.
Meryl.
I will, from the safety of where I'm at right now, just Eldritch Blast it. So it's 14 to hit.
Oh, that does not hit.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so back to Lucan.
He will try again. Fuck! It's an 8. I'm tired of rolling on this
no.
bed.
Yep, that does not hit either.
Oh no.
16 plus 2, 18. So Lucan, it's coming after you. It swings its arm down, like crushing on top of you as you feel this blast of kind of like magical energy around you, and you for 8 points of damage. Back to Meryl.
Eldritch Blast. Oh, that's 21.
Hi, hits.
5 points of damage.
Okay.
And with my bonus action, can I? So I used a cantrip. Can I use one of my like class features as well? It is
Sure.
a bonus action to do
Yeah.
it. Lucan, I will heal you for. Oh no. 1 point. Sorry.
It's okay.
There
It's all
we go.
good. I appreciate the effort. It's all that matters.
Back to Lucan.
Alright, we're gonna try this again.
8.
Alrighty.
6.
No worries. The Dreamless monster does not go for you. It actually launches itself back up again, and it flies over to where Meryl is, landing in front of her. That's movement, and it does not attack yet. So back to Meryl. It is now within 15 feet of you.
Within 15 feet of me.
And as you're standing there on that platform, you start to feel it wobble and shake below you.
Okay. Sorry, now I'm reading through. So I'm going to... God, I'm just going to back up again 10 feet. Jump. Like, if I can diagonally go away from it. If
Okay.
there's room.
Yeah.
Do that. So... A 14 for performance?
Yep. You managed to get 15 feet away.
Alright, cool. And then she'll whip around and she'll do a little hair flippy again because she vaguely remembers she's in the tournament. And I'll just blast it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's over 20. 18, 19, 20, 24.
Yep.
5 more points of damage.
Okay. All right, Lucan. It is now 30 feet away from you.
Okay, I mean... he's gonna try and go after it again, like, hop along the
Okay. Roll performance.
things.
It
God,
probably
please.
would like an athletics check, but technically, since you're like in this tournament, I'm rolling for performance.
See, I would prefer athletics, but it's fine.
So if you want,
No.
you can do performance. Just know that it, or you can, if you want to do athletics, you can. However, it will not count towards your overall performance points that I've tallied.
Oh gosh.
It's up to you. Totally up to you. Just know that if you take the athletics, it's not going to count towards your overall points.
Okay, so can he remember the cookie that he has and is eating it now a good idea?
It depends on what it does.
All right, he's gonna remember the cookie, and he's gonna pull the cookie out and eat it.
Okay, sure. So that will end your turn there.
Okay.
Okay. So we're back at our guy here who launches forward to Meryl. The 16 hit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Comes down with your club with only 1 point of damage.
Yay! I like hold my shield up and.
Your shield improves your AC.
Oh, what does it improve it by?
I think just a regular small shield is +1.
Oh, no, but still would have hit me.
Okay.
I'll still take it.
Okay. Okay. Back to Meryl.
Okay. Well, it's in range of me now, though, and if
Yes.
I run. Oh.
It's within 5 feet. You're in combat.
So if you run, you'll get attack of opportunity, right?
Yeah. If something has to make a saving throw, it doesn't get advantage for being within 5 feet of me, right? I only get disadvantage if I make a ranged spell attack.
Believe so, yes.
Okay, cool. So then after blocking attack, she'll feel pretty good, and she'll start playing her little song again with her bells, and she'll cast Toll the Dead at it.
Okay.
And it has to make a Wisdom saving throw and beat a 14.
That's it's +3, so 10. So nope, it
Woo!
fails.
Okay. And it's a total of. Oh, it was so close to being 11. It's a 4.
4 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll just hold my ground.
Okay. Ready? Back to Lucan. And so you feel your stomach start to churn. It like starts cramping up as you start shrinking smaller and smaller, and then eventually you jut up 20 feet, becoming a large creature.
Okay, yay.
I was scared for a second. Okay, so then, is that all of his turn, or?
No, you can go.
Okay, then he is going to, scale across the, board using performance.
You
That
can
is...
use advantage on this because of your size.
Okay. 13.
Okay. And then
He is going to try and hit it again. That is an 18.
that hits.
And then 5.
5 points of damage. Alrighty. So it sees you now as a larger threat now that you're about comparable in sizes. So it comes after you, but does not hit. Back to Meryl.
It seemed to work last time because she doesn't want to run away. She's too scared. How much room do I have behind me until it's like there's no more board?
You are at the edge of the board right now.
Oh, wild tits. Then yeah, I'm just gonna stay right here and we'll play some more music, and it's gotta make a wisdom saving throw, please.
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Hot. 11 this time, yay.
11 points of damage.
Yes, please.
You can see that this Dreamless is really starting to be on its last legs. Lucan?
Alright, he's gonna try and go in for... Hopefully, maybe...
Don't forget you have rage.
I thought it ended because I
Because you
didn't take damage. Yeah, hopefully try and make this one last. Fucking Christ. Sorry. 7.
It does not hit. But you have advantage.
Still?
Yep.
Oh, even on... Okay.
Yep.
Oh, 13.
Okay, yeah, so it doesn't hit, unfortunately. Alrighty. Coming back after, it also does not hit, so back to Meryl.
She sees that the bells are working, so she's going to frantically play faster, and they're going to ring faster, and it's going to make another wisdom saving throw, if it would, please.
12.
Can I make a performance check to see if I can make it grandiose and entertaining?
Actually, absolutely.
Yes. 19.
Beautiful.
Oh, and now damage.
How much damage?
A total of 10.
How do you want to do this?
Yay!
Eh.
Yeah, so the frantically playing, but still looking kind of good, and maybe some sweating, and then the bells just ring and ring and ring and ring until it gets so loud that you can see the thing like, it's like vibrating its head, and then it kind of pops.
Sure. Alrighty, so
Yeah.
yeah, it disintegrates and turns into the pool of ash and smoke, and then finally disappearing as the chessboard returns to the arena that you remembered from the beginning, as the crowd goes super wild and enchanting. Let me see. There we go. Back to that. You all kind of coming off of your battle high for sure. Little sweaty, little torn up, that type of thing. As the Queen of Hearts steps forward, she says, "What a grandiose showcase of how well you've done in this tournament. Congratulations to Team Lucan and Meryl, as you have advanced to the next round. Unfortunately for our knave, he has succumbed to the Dreamless." And then you see a cart with a dead body hanging off of it as it's escorted out of the arena. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the fight you have all been waiting for. The fight between Hercules and Team Meryl and Lucan. This next fight will start in the next 30 minutes for time for refreshment and a tea break. Enjoy. And you all kind of look around as you see Hercules stepping forward, like from the other side, as he, looks at you all, and then heads closer to where Lucan and Meryl are. Bailey, Evelyn, and Thal. At this time, you are seated near the Queen of Hearts. You've been watching this showcase happen at all. You do have time to go down and meet the champions, or you can totally stay up there. What would you guys like to do?
Thal is definitely going to go down to them.
Evelyn will as well.
Yeah, we'll all go.
Okay. So you guys make it down to the champion's tent, where you see Lucan and Meryl. They're kind of fixing up their armor and things like that. As you see Hercules over in the corner, he's like stretching and like doing one of these things and just getting ready for the next fight. As he comes up to Meryl and Lucan, he says, "Hi, I'm Hercules. Boy Wonder, nice to meet you." And he extends his hand to you too.
It's a pleasure.
Lucan's gonna reach out and try and like grip his hand kind of hard and like give it a good look.
Sure.
He's like shoulders back, like.
He's like, "Some game, huh?"
It was
Mhm.
pretty intense, actually, more than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's tough out here for sure, but I must say, let the good man or woman win in the next tournament. But I do have to tell you, I am not here just to compete in the games. At this time, Bailey, Elowen, and Thal have arrived, and Hercules kind of turns. He goes, "Oh, hi there. I'm Hercules."
Lucan's gonna like kind of reach out as he sees them coming, and he's like all sweaty. He's got like sweat dripping out of his like armpit hair, and he's gonna reach out and like put his arms around two of you. I don't know who would be
You
closer.
get to pick.
Yeah.
Like ducks out of the way.
Probably Thal and Bailey. Like he's gonna like totally just grab Bailey and be
And I-
like, "Hey, these,
I rolled
these
a
are my
dodge.
friends."
Yeah, roll dex.
A saving throw? Or oh shit. Pretty sure she gets hugged by Lucan. That's an 8. Our lucky number of the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Lucan, kind of wraps you smell body odor and sweat, dripping off of him. He says, Hercules, he goes over, he says, "Well, it's a pleasure to meet you all. I was actually just telling your friends here that I'm here not because of the games, but unfortunately some bad circumstances have gone back home. Uh, I've been able to trace the origination of it back here in this Underland world, and it would really work out if you would let me win this round."
bad stuff, actually. We might have conjoining issues.
We're coming from a very similar situation.
Interesting to hear. Well, listen, some friends back home, uh, they're starting to fall asleep, and I haven't been able to wake them up.
Listen, we
And
can work together. We're having the same issue. We already know what we're doing.
We know how
Also,
to fix it.
if we don't win, our heads will come off.
Oh,
And we
that's
can't
true.
help you.
Yeah.
And your friends will probably stay asleep forever.
I've conducted that much. I haven't been able to wake them. It's weird because even fairies and gods have been able to fall asleep and not wake up.
What gods have?
It's what?
Like, what gods? She doesn't know that she's talking to, like, a demigod.
Well, the ones back home on Mount Olympus. My father being one of them.
Oh. Well, that's really curious because our friend that's almost like a god also fell asleep, but I don't think he's a god. He's like a bird. Bird god.
Oh,
What she
that's
means is,
terrible.
yes, he's very powerful and also won't wake up.
Did their hair turn white by chance?
Well, my father's was already white as it is, but yes, even Megara, her hair turned white too. And he
Well,
like kind of looks sad about this.
we think we can fix this. It's gonna take us a bit of time, but we really do need that trophy because it has something in there to fix this whole situation, or at least a piece of it to fix it.
You're
like
talking about the Queen of Hearts totem, right?
Precisely.
Yes.
Bingo.
We have
Okay.
others.
All right. Normally, I would say we have to play square and fair because that's my morals, but I understand that this is obviously very big for you. All right.
We don't want to die.
I don't
I
blame you. I don't want you to die at all. Yeah.
That, yeah.
so what am I supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Like make it look real? Like I don't want to actually hurt you. I promise that we will help you as much as we can. We've already got a lot of groundwork for this to help these people wake up, but I
All right. That's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll go talk to the queen and I'll forfeit.
No, 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 no. No, no, no. I say we still give them a show. Why do they have to think anything is weird? I mean, you can, we'll send some shots and we'll, hold back some blows, but, and then maybe you can hit me and I'll like pass out and then you two have a battle and then we win.
The only thing is with that is I'm honor bound.
Oh.
I have to play fair if I fight with you. But if you don't play fair, then I win. That's where I was coming from. If you don't know my story, I'm a demigod. So your blows aren't going to be as effective as the ones against you, and I can't hold back.
Ooh. So you're just
So
gonna win no matter what.
eh, that's why I was trying to let you guys know that if you don't try to fight, I'll win. But if I forfeit, no one gets hurt. And trust me, I've taken my blows before too, but I'll
But
be fine.
what if the queen doesn't like that or accepts that?
Well, she'll have to get over it. Her
Mm,
rule might be in this world, but I've got some friends on my side too. Hopefully, if they're still, awake when I get back to Mount Olympus.
You're
How do
willing
we
to
get
take
to
that
Mount
chance.
Olympus when we figure this out? I mean, do we have to like individually heal everybody or is it just gonna like go away?
I don't know about that. I was hoping that with the totem we might be able to use it to wake them up. I've only heard about it by my helper Phil. He knows a lot about that all that lore and stuff. And honestly, I was sleeping through a lot of it. But before he fell asleep, he said something about once you've lined up all the totems together and they've been cleansed, you're able to basically rewrite whatever you want. It's like a wish spell.
We basically are doing that actually. Our friend has this coffin thing that we've been putting the cleansed totems in. And we have a couple with us the cleanse still, or one.
So you already have one.
We have a few, actually. We have 3 now.
Cool. That works. I know my buddy Aladdin, he was working on one back in Agrahbah when I first came to this strange world.
Agrahbah. Okay. Aladdin. I'll put my head. We know one's in Davy's Jones' locker. So, great. And Hook has one too. We don't know where though.
I don't know who these people are, but I trust you know what they mean. I'm not from around here. I'm from a world called Mount Olympus.
Oh, we're not from here either. We're from Everas.
Everas, the place of all stories. I've
Yeah.
never been.
Well, it's home. I
I've
haven't
been
really been in the land part much, so yeah.
The story worlds out there are quite fickle up on the spiral. I was able to traverse them with my great friend Pegasis, but he fell asleep too. So now I'm kind of stuck here until I was hoping to figure out a way to find out what's going on here and get back home somehow. But listen, I won't take any much more of your time. I'm gonna go talk to Queen of Hearts. I'm gonna go forfeit.
Careful.
Until we meet again. And he goes to shake Lucan's hand. Take it. He shakes it and he says, "You're a powerful warrior."
I
Yeah, I saw the way you got out there, the way you grew 20 feet tall. That was crazy. How did you
Oh,
do that?
a cookie? He's kind of
Sweets,
like,
eh? Phil always told me that sugar is not good for these muscles, and he like pulls it up and, and shows off his muscles. But hey, maybe I'll convince him when he wakes up. Good luck, friends.
thank you so much.
Hopefully we'll meet again sometime. And when you get out to Agrabah, that story world, let him know that Herc sent you.
Will do.
And he exits out of the tent and goes away.
Lucan kind of starts looking at his like own muscles, like just kind of like,
Okay, Lucan, you're very strong too. He's also like demigod, so he has that advantage.
Yeah, I'm kind of super tapped. I got a little excited in that first part. Uh, so it's a good thing that he's doing this, I think.
I was going to give you guys a song of rest, but now I don't have to.
Well,
Worried the Queen of Hearts won't like that.
I'm worried about it too. Yeah.
As you all step for are kind of all talking, the curtain opens again, and Marianne, Alice, she steps forward, with a huge like trunk carry next to her. Then she like sets it down on the ground. She goes, "Whew! I managed to get all of your things, so here they are. So that's good. I just passed Hercules on the way back up to the Queen's tent. Is everything okay?"
Yeah, he's forfeiting, letting us win.
He's forfeiting. Wow.
Something about honor.
That makes sense. Absolutely. You know, when I was traversing the story realms, Mount Olympus was one place that I really did not like.
Oh,
Why?
I don't know, it was strange there. People talk in weird accents.
Oh,
That's the only reason?
Well, among other things, but there's also this horrible thing called Hades, who's a lord of the underworld in that place. Thankfully, he has no ties here. Mount Olympus is its own separate story realm, not contributed to Everas.
Oh, well, that's
Oh.
good.
oh.
that is excellent. Do you know where Agrahbah is?
Yeah, well, obviously it used to exist here in Everas, but after the story realms were created, it's a story realm. I could probably figure out a way to get there through chair jumping. I do have that ability.
Are you able to tear jump us?
No, I can't do more than one other person with me quite right now. But I do have a way of finding looking glasses that might get you there.
Oh.
That might be good. I know we need to get back to Everos because of totems we have and check on
Mhm.
Eliot. But
Oh, speaking of totems, and Alice throws open the trunk and she says, "We have the trophy. I did steal it. We have approximately 3 minutes before the card guard gets here."
great.
Okay, so
Cleansed.
let's go.
What
Yep.
about Hook's key totem?
We'll figure it out on the way. I did manage to steal this while she wasn't looking.
Okay, so let's get changed. Let's go.
Lucan's gonna.
Evelyn, can you take us back? You have his
I have
key,
the
right?
key.
We
Yes.
don't even have to
I
run.
I just need a door.
Got you. So we run to find a door as she's putting on her clothes.
Same.
Lucan's gonna like rifle through the trunk, like throwing everybody else's stuff like behind him
Touching it.
until he like gets like his swords and his weapons, but mostly he's like digging for honey. And like when he finds honey, he's gonna like pull honey out and he's like, okay, and he's like, now he's ready
Ow.
to go.
Perfect. All right.
Bailey will hurry up and get dressed and be like, "Oh, thank God, those other clothes smelled like Lucan's armpit."
Mm.
Everyone roll a dexterity to see how quickly you can put on these clothes.
Oh dear.
No.
Just general
Ooh,
dexterity?
Uh-huh.
nat 20. Finally.
19.
Oh.
14.
Yeah, she's really overwhelmed by that smell. That's a 5.
I
Okay.
got an 11.
Okay. So everyone kind of manages to get their clothes on, as Bailey's still trying to get all her straps and leather pieces all together. As you're making your way down this hallway where there's this large ornate door that Alice is at. She like throws off her hat as you realize her dress has become blue again. Um, and then she's like, "Yeah, this door will work."
Ellen takes the key out of the satchel and she puts it in the door and she turns it and she opens the door.
Perfect. You see this glittering kind of portally magic as you see card guards charging down the hallway towards you.
Everyone in, and she holds the door open and she like waves everybody in. Come on, Bailey, and she grabs her arm to like shove her through.
Stumbles through, still kind of like buttoning up one of the latches.
All right. So you tumble through the portal as uh, uh, you start falling through this magical portal and of things like that, and bookcases and chess pieces and giant dice kind of whirl past you, and eventually you land back into a place that is familiar, um, but it's not Eliot's tower.
Oh, you
I
just
thought
made
this
my notes wrong.
I thought this key
This
was supposed to take us there.
this place is eternally black, with 3 inches of water on the floor, soaking your shoes.
What?
Oh no.
Oh
Why are we
Oh
here?
no.
no.
Why would we
Oh
be back
no.
here?
No, 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 no.
Oh no, no, no.
No.
Oh no.
Why would that key take us here?
It's supposed to take us back to Eliot's tower. It wasn't supposed to take us here.
Who told us it was taking us back to Eliot's tower again?
A bird.
You notice
Awaken?
A
that
bird?
Alice is not with you.
Oh no.
Oh.
Elowen. Elowen, you still have Lumiere, right?
Yeah, I do. And she takes Lumiere out of her purse, her satchel, and she casts Druidcraft and lights all the candles.
I don't have any.
Lumiere's lights light up, and you kind of have now a circle of light around you, and you see that there are things in the water. There's like a bookshelf with tons and tons of books that extend past the blackness and darkness of the ceiling of this fog, and there's a desk with papers and things like that, kind of overturned. There's some trunks, some barrels, and just some weird things all around in this area.
Does Does it look like the stuff that was in Eliot's room?
Yes.
Oh no.
I think he was making stuff and they pushed it through here.
You don't think we are in that room, do you?
Coming out, you hear the swishing of the water as a figure comes directly towards you. Um, it looks tall, um, and it keeps stepping very in a brisk pace towards you before stopping just at the edge of Lumiere's light, and all you can see is its legs. The rest of it is covered in blackness and fog.
Who's there? Show yourself.
Nothing happens. And then it turns over to the desk and it sits down in the desk. You still can't see its face of black. And then another figure comes in from behind the bookshelf as it goes over and places its hands as if leaning against the desk. And you can hear as if there's a conversation happening between the two, but you can't make out what they're saying. It's like a mumbled language.
Should we try to get closer?
See what they're saying. Maybe
see
they know
who
a
it
way out.
You don't think that could be Eliot, do you?
Hope
No.
not.
Eliot's
Can it
asleep.
be?
I don't know.
Thal will inch closer and try to peer at the faces in the desk.
They're all faceless. They have no defined features at all. It is just pure skin.
Just
They're,
skin?
they're not real, I think. I think this is a nightmare, you guys. Definitely.
I think it's absolutely a nightmare.
And the writing on the desk is just nothing to
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a weird memory. You know, we're watching something play out that's happened before. It's just not all remembered.
You kind of watch the scene play out as the person who was leaning up against the deck, like a desk, like pushes themselves away. And you see this green light, this lime green, putrid, hazardous green light ball up in their hands. And it gets casted over to one of the bookshelves as the bookshelf ignites in these green flames and burns as the that person disappears again. And the figure like pushes themselves away from the desk, and you see them like try to like scan over with magic to put out the fire, but it just keeps burning. And then eventually fire erupts all around you, encircling in your light. And then the figure that's before you like turns and faces you all as fire starts it like catches this person on fire, and the flames lick at its sides before eventually the skin starts to melt away on its face, revealing Eliot. And that's where tonight's episode will end.
Oh
How do I
no!
take Elliot's face melted out of the skin creature? What do I put?
Face
Mm.
melts.
Maybe it was
my
just like an
God.
illusion of the non-faceless person was an illusion. It was actually Eliot.
Ah,
Terrified of
think
the
Oh
fire and of Elliot now.
no.
Oh,
that was a
thank you.
really good run.
This song.
Uh, we're trapped in a nightmare right now.
Yes.
Great.
Is it better that we're not drowning, or is it worse because we have skin creatures?
Bailey says better.
That's
Better.
fair.
Thal doesn't think so. It's fire. She's like, fuck, fuck, fuck. Our two fears.
Yeah, but it could always happen. It doesn't mean that the skin creatures are the end.
Well,
And
is
that's
that
how we
other
woke up.
one Maleficent? Have we seen her green fire? We as characters?
We just we'd know about it, right?
Do we?
But from her repository, anyone who was in there would have seen like the green flames from the torches and things like that. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications?
I love it so much.
It's a fun one.
I
Good.
love green
Yeah.
magic.
I'm glad you like that. Maleficent's not the only one who has green magic.
Yeah.
You've seen one other person in this world use green magic.
Me.
Eloin?
Not
Or do you mean evil green?
not lime. Yeah.
Is it Nathaniel?
Yeah.
Saphiria.
Saphiria.
I don't know if I don't think Meryl's ever seen that. Has she?
She's used magic around you before.
Okay.
She only has green magic. No matter what she does. Yeah.
So yeah, poor Eliot.
For us.
Sweet
Oh,
Eliot.
Eliot.
Yikes. But yeah,
They
I'm
got
glad you
no
guys had fun.
fight.
It was
Always.
amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
super fun. Like,
I really enjoyed it. I know that there was a lot of like Lucan, Meryl, and Trey.
Yeah, it took a hot minute,
but personally, like that was I think that even like being on the sideline of that would have been really fun too. Like that was really fun, and I also thought it was kind of just in general comical because of my roles. But it's
Yes.
okay.
the dice always have a fun way of
Mhm.
It
of
was really
doing things
comical.
like that. So for sure, I'm glad you kind of got a little bit under that. Let's see.
You can't feel too cool.
Mm-mm.
Meryl felt pretty cool. She was going at it.
We didn't find out why Hercules went to the Under in the first place. He said that he followed something here, but we didn't inquire what brought him here. He knew about the
Yeah.
totem, but like there was something else that led him here. We didn't figure that out.
It's more seeds that were planted, you know. But yeah, for sure. I'm glad.
We
Yeah,
got Talib.
Yeah, we have
Yep.
Talib back.
helping the fairy godmother. Maybe he'll become a fairy godfather.
I would love
Aw,
that.
Aww,
that'd be awesome.
Little fairy godfather in training.
that's adorable. Oh my god.
He's not even like my character, and like I would love that for him. Like I think that's adorable.
I love that movie. That Fairy Godmother movie.
Oh, godmothered.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty good. I do like that a lot.
Cute.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you guys had fun. I know, yeah, Meryl and Lucan had some time in the light, but it was
But
good to.
Lucan needed some time in the light.
Definitely. There was
That's-
time and it was fun to witness.
Yeah.
Doing a somersault, just being like, oh.
Nothing's there.
We just gotta get your backstory now. We got a bit of Thal's backstory
Mhm.
finally. Now we gotta get yours. Like the nibblings. Like, are you married? We heard that, but we're like, what? We didn't explain if you're married or not. Do you have children? Is your like nibblings from your brother or from your like sister? We don't know.
It's really not that deep, guys.
I mean, it's
No.
deep to me.
Deep enough.
We'll get there for
Now we're
sure.
concerned about
See,
your
I'm
family.
really excited to go to Davy Jones' locker. Like that's what I'm looking forward to.
The TikTok that you made of Ursula and Thal got me really hyped for that part, for sure. I can't wait to go.
There's like 3 more Ursula TikToks I did.
Oh.
Whichever
Just
one
that
you
song.
I watched this morning.
Yeah, no, that's the only one I posted.
Yeah.
I posted that one, the Wonderland one, and then Thal not being able to read, but now she can read. I had to
Mhm.
post that one because like, oh, she can read now. I could post this one. So
It's true. You can post whatever you want.
yeah. Well, yeah. Not whatever I want yet.
I'm excited for pirates too. It'll be fun for sure. It'll be
Definitely
adventure.
well, lots of pirate sounds, a lot of Davy Jones sounds.
Yes.
It'll be fun.
Justice for Johnny.
Get some
Yes!
Captain Jack up in here for sure. Gotta work
Ugh.
on my Captain Jack accent.
Oh.
Neither.
Actually, just today I went downstairs at my grandma's and she has this old like papers and telegraphs from her dad when he was in the Navy, me and Sydney's great grandpa. And he was part of a membership of it was like the Secrets of the Deep, and it's signed by Davy Jones. It's
Oh,
really
that's
cool. It's
Cool.
really
That's
cool.
amazing.
I
Okay.
just saw it today. I'll take a picture of it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I want to see that. I didn't know that stuff
You would
existed.
you would recognize it's like part of the big shadow box she used to have in the hallway where he like said he was coming home. There's like a little card that's like the Secret Order of the Deep for like crossing the equator on a Navy ship, and it's signed by Davy Jones and Neptunus Rex. It's really cool.
That's
so
cool.
cool. Wait, isn't Neptunus Rex from 20,000 Leagues?
I think it's the one of the official names of King Neptune. Like because I looked it up and it said that was like a name for King Neptune, like the god of the
Yeah,
sea.
that makes sense. I gotta get back to
Um,
my Percy lore.
Yeah.
question to make sure you guys understand. So you do understand that Mount Olympus is a separate world, correct? Like it's not
Sure.
an Everas thing.
Yes.
It is its
It's
own
not even like
separate.
it's not like
Yes.
even a store world technically.
It's like
Different
another
like-
universe.
It's its own realm in the spiral.
Okay.
A pocket realm in
Um,
the spiral.
Just like Earth is a pocket realm technically in the spiral, but it's
Yeah,
not a
sure.
part of Everas. Yeah.
So it's like their own gods, but not the gods
Mhm.
of Everos.
Correct.
Different gods.
Yeah, that's how I kind of got around the whole like Hades being the Lord of the Underworld, and then Grim being the god of, or fairy of death. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
yeah. So okay, well, good. I'm glad you guys had a
Mm.
good time for sure. So
Mhm.
Always. Yeah.
I will let you all enjoy the rest of your Monday evening and
Mm.
sleep tight, and all that. So love you
Yeah,
all.
maybe.
Hades is right there.
Ooh,
Oh yeah,
Ash, I
there.
love that shirt.
Yeah, they
Eversl's down
are.
there. As I'm like taking off my shirt.
Baddies.
Have a great
Baddies.
night, guys.
Also, bye. Also, happy Star Wars time.
Yay!
May
May
the
the
4th.
4th.
Yep,
May the 4th.
on Wednesday. So, all right, you all have a wonderful evening. Love you all.
All right, love you
Love
guys.
you. Thank you all.
All right,
Mwah.
mwah. Bye.
Bye.